So before we get started with the video, I just wanted to point out that we have this nice little PDF release document. You'll actually be seeing a link down in the description, so you can just go ahead and click that and it'll bring it directly to it. And it's going to have an overview of the quick hotfix that we did here, the typical table here. Just a little note that this is for any of the charters that use online assessment. My understanding is part of Pathways uses it, and and OFL and OFY use it pretty much exclusively. So you'll see that we have again, just a description, it's a couple images that kind of showcase what's going on here, and it should all be pretty clean cut and clear. If you need more detail about how it works, there is a Word document that's created. You can go ahead and click this, as well as a YouTube channel. So this link will be activated at a later date once this is uploaded. And then if you want to provide us with feedback on the forum, go ahead and do that here as well, because we're always looking to improve the release notes and give better feedback and get better feedback. So thank you. EDI, and we're going to be talking about the changes that we made to image sizings with answers and questions. So you can see right here, this was the example that was originally sent to me to kind of figure out what was going on here. And you can see this is impossible to read. Even if you zoom in, it's still impossible to read. So let's go back to question 13 and, oops, excuse me, question 5 or 4. And you'll see that this is coming out, the question's coming out okay, and these answers are really awful. So let's just go ahead and edit this, and then we can explain what changes were made. So in terms of the questions have always worked in which it will take a width or a height of 1200. So the max dimensions is 1200 by 1200. If any dimension is larger than that specific dimension, it's going to then proportionally shrink it down. So it might be 900 by 1200, or it might be 1200 by 1100, whatever the image is, but it won't be distorted. It will just be shrunken down, and it'll be saved that way. There won't be a larger version available on the server. It'll be in the 1200 by whatever ratio. So you'll see right here that this image is extremely tiny here, and that's by design. You won't actually be able to see it unless we go back to the question. So we're going to go ahead and find that exact example, and we're just going to showcase how we can now view that. So this image that I'm putting in here is about 950 by 45. It's a string of algebra text that was snipped out of a document, and now when we go down to number 4, you'll see that it is much more legible. What happened here is we ended up changing the parameters to from being 150 pixels by 150 pixels to 600 pixels by 600 pixels. So in this case, just as a reminder, we are in the testing server, so all this stuff, feel free to mess with it. But you can also see down below, this is the same small line of text that was flipped to 150. Now this originally was the same image as this, but now because of the changing of parameters, you can insert much larger images than you were before. Unfortunately, because of the way that the storage and saving works, this will only affect future tests. You will actually have to go back, edit the question, delete the original snippet or snip item, and then go ahead and just put in it one more time. So this will affect any sort of multiple choice question that had images, but again, you will have to go back and do it that way. Now, it's 600 by 600 for the answers of multiple choice questions. Now let's go ahead and find a matching. All right, so now let's showcase matching real quick. So it is important to note that 1200 by 1200 is the max image size. So we'll just start. You can actually, it's not going to blow it up to 1200 by 1200. That's just the max. I don't remember what this is. I think this was the original image that was sent to me. And then we're going to go ahead and choose an apple. And we're going to go ahead and choose the banana image. And then we have choice 1, choice 2. So when we save it, I guess we can add one more row here just of text. Just put an F and an S. Save it. We're going to scroll all the way down. And you'll see right here that these are actually going to be about 300 by 300. So 243 by that, and then 247 by 204. So that just has to do with the size of these files. They're obviously not going to blow them up to where they're at, but it's definitely a improvement. So the dimensions are 300 by 300, and then right here it's also 1200, and again it's not going to blow it up to 1200, it's just going to contain the proportions within that. So I hope you guys found this helpful in understanding how images will be working in the new parameters. This is on training and production, so if you're feeling a little iffy with how the images work, just go ahead and hop on training like I did here, choose a random test, and start creating questions to see how it works. Thank you.